Music, which is
Mhm.
the directorial debut or feature film directorial debut from Sia, the pop singer who,
Mhm.
I think I would say I really like her music. I don't listen to her albums necessarily, but the hits are really, really good. And
Yeah.
I like her stylistic choices with her music videos. The Shia LaBeouf, Maddie Ziegler, I don't know, thread throughout a lot of her music videos I always found pretty interesting.
Mm.
Um,
And
but
unfortunate bookend to that Shia piece of late.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah,
this was
no,
a movie.
she's definitely interesting because she kind of like pops up, goes away, then like
Yeah.
every like other single seems to be like really big, you know?
Right. And I think when I think of her, I think the first place I kind of go to. She's in that Gaga vein where she has like a very specific style, like look.
Yeah,
She's her face is
aesthetic.
always covered. She has these outlandish costumes and dresses, and yeah, I think definitely there's an aesthetic to her. Not on the level of Gaga for sure, but um, I was interested to see music because I was like, Sia, like most of her stuff. And I gotta be honest, the part about music that probably is the best is the music videos. And
Yeah.
then everything outside of that is pretty not great. Yeah. So just to kind of, I guess, like give those who haven't watched it or those who did, just a quick breakdown. It's about um, a siblings, music, and Kazoo, who's just referred to as Zoo. Music played by Maddie Ziegler, and Zoo played by Kate Hudson in this movie. Zoo comes in to take care of Music, who is an autistic teenager. After the grandmother who was caretaking for them died, and it's kind of about their relationship. But there's a lot of problems with this movie, to say the least. Dave, what was just your overall like thought after the movie finished?
Oh, it's abominable, man. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. And that's the thing. It's like there's some really offensive and problematic and
Yeah,
ill-advised choices that we can get to
totally.
in a second. And then there's also just the film itself, which I don't think is that good anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing if like there were these really offensive things, but the movie was so good, and then everyone has to like in their own head be like, do I care enough? Separate
Mhm.
the art and the artist? No, it's not. That's nothing. That's not even in the conversation. The movie is bad,
Yeah.
and when the movie is bad, you're just stuck on all these bad choices,
Mhm.
and it just completely colors the movie, and then you can't get by it.
Yeah. I laughed before because I was trying to be very careful with how I'm saying it, but yeah, it's not good at all. And I think let's start with the probably the ill-advised performance choices. Casting neurotypical actress dancer Maddie Ziegler to play music is really tough. And the choices she makes in portraying an autistic teenager really border on like minstrel. Um,
Yeah,
throughout it just
just
over the top.
stigmatizing and
Yeah, over the top.
stereotypical. It's bad, real bad.
Yeah, any
Caricature, all that.
whatever you would think to like make fun of someone with autism is basically what she kind of does in this. I don't think that was her intention, obviously, but it really comes across as offensive to that whole community. And then to go beyond that, there's multiple times in this movie when music is restrained
Mhm.
for being upset. Once by Leslie Odom Jr. and one time by Kate Hudson in this movie, and there's no warnings for anything like that. And I know many people within the autistic community, um, it was like re-traumatizing to see and experience that.
Also, like, not what people
Not
do.
best practice.
It's
Yeah,
no.
it's like literally a last resort if people are in danger. So it's just a really poor choice. And Sia has in interviews talked about that. She didn't even think about this, or it wasn't her intention, which is even I think more startling that she decided to go through with a movie and make the choice to have music be kind of the plot driver. I mean, she's kind of the MacGuffin of the movie for
Mhm. Yeah.
Kate Hudson Zoo, which is also I think pretty offensive, and as a choice to like just make this
Yeah.
character with a disability just like a plot
Well, it's
driver.
it's also a classic trope. It's like you're
Right.
different, but you're special and gifted,
Exactly.
whatever it is. It's we've seen that before.
But to not even consider these sorts of things, how the portrayal of a character in that way would be, like how traumatizing those sorts of events on screen could be, just as a
Right.
total miss.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, hey, it's not that Sia can't necessarily make a movie about an autistic character, but it's that she clearly didn't do any homework
Hmm.
and consult anyone and
Yeah,
give it her best effort. So that's what you get. To make matters worse, apparently an autistic person was cast to play music and then was dropped due to some difficulties.
yeah,
Apparently, and then they passed
yeah,
someone who's not autistic. Like that makes it even worse because you knew you really shouldn't cast a normal functioning person. It just comes off as like ableist.
totally. And Sia also talks about the way that she kind of went about creating this movie was I kind of saw it in my head and I'm just going to go out and like kind of know what I want it to look like, know how I want the scene to be, and I'm going to just like kind of tell people to do it that way. She didn't want to learn Final Draft, which is this app that screenwriters use, and it's just like,
Yes, it's
you know maybe there's a reason people go through with these things so that you kind of getting this out on page. Maybe someone's going to read this and be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have this portrayed. Maybe there's a different way to go about this, and it just feels like a lot of like corner cutting and just trying to like get an idea out without actually fully fleshing it.
hmm
Like, what do the music videos truly add to this movie? I said that they were probably the best looking and sounding parts of the movie, but even that, like, for a person who is autistic to view some of the music videos in this, like even the first one, there's like strobes, there's really loud music choices that can be completely overstimulating for someone in that community to watch. It, I just don't know how much any of these choices really add up to anything other than a really bad movie.
yeah, yeah. It's notable too. Like when the movie's starting, you see a pop up for Warner Music Group, which is Sia's label. And it's like, huh, Warner Music Group associated with a movie?
Right.
Like usually when there's soundtracks to movies, you don't see the ad for the label who put out the
Hmm.
soundtrack. Kind of strange. Um, but again, to make matters worse, the Golden Globes, which we always say are a joke, Hollywood Foreign Press has no credibility whatsoever. No one even knows who they are. They nominated music for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Kate Hudson for Best Actress for Motion Picture Comedy at the upcoming Golden Globes. It's like just baffling decision that is no other way to put it. Clearly, just focus on, oh, we want Sia and Kate Hudson at our award show. We always know they like are quote star fuckers. That's what they're
Hmm.
into, famous people, because it's clearly not the art. There's nothing redeemable about this. Like even like the best comedy or musical delineation, which is not like separate all the dramas, the higher minded stuff. There were better choices than
For
music.
sure.
Many. Like it's a joke.
Yeah, it's really just disappointing all around. And I I was just like thinking as you were talking, like these are my least favorite types of reviews to do, because at least when a movie's bad, as long as it's not offensive, it's like we can make fun of it, we can have fun. Like you can't even really take any joy away from this movie other than maybe you like the music from it, and that's just
hmm
like after everything else it's attached to, it's like just really leaves a gross feeling in your mouth. So not a big fan of this movie. I would say don't buy it or support it.
Negative.
um, but I'm hoping Sia learns from this and maybe we'll see something better in the future. Let's hope, or maybe we'll get a good album out of it. I don't know,
We
but
can hope.